morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. Whatever time of day it is that you're watching, welcome to Knit About It, our little podcast here on YouTube. I'm Cassie, and this is my best friend, Drew, and we're just here to talk a little bit about knitting and crafting and all of everything. We'll talk about everything, right?
Yeah, all the good stuff.
Nothing's off the table.
Yeah, open book, the usual.
Yeah. But first of all, we just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in to our last episode. We are just so thankful that you all are here, and it's so nice to meet so many new people. We appreciate all of your kind comments and new subscribers. So welcome to everybody new and old, and nobody's really that old. We've only been around for like a little bit of time, but we're going with it. It's just amazing to me that anybody would watch, considering we're not one of the big overproduced and, music and yada yada and captions for everything. We're keeping it simple. We're keeping it light and breezy. So this is just a time to sit with us while we have a conversation about knitting. So what have you been up to, Drew? You just came back from Rhinebeck.
Yes. Yay. I've been traveling. So, I went to, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I went to New York Sheep and Wool and Woolenfolk. And it was just great. It was really, really nice. A lot of people, but really beautiful. And just it just felt nice to be amongst the fiber community again. So, yeah. What's been going on with you?
Working. Work. That's been about it. I don't have anything exciting going on I can report. It's just like the humdrum daily junk that we all do. A little bit of knitting in between. A little bit of ice dyeing in between.
Yeah.
That's it, really. The weather's changing, so more outside time, prepping my garden for winter. That's been about the biggest activity that's really happened, I guess.
Yeah.
Still on cloud nine about my new garbage disposal. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
that's
stuff of life. That's what we call it, stuff of life. So
being a grown-up sometimes is really rough. I got a new garbage disposal after being without one for 2 weeks, and I can tell you being without a garbage disposal for 2 weeks is the biggest nightmare of your life. Yeah.
I would never have a house without a garbage disposal. Like, I don't know how people do it with, nothing.
Mm-mm.
Like,
I never used to have one.
The trash. Yikes.
Well, we're not allowed to in California anymore. We have to compost any food items. Nothing can go in the garbage anymore.
What?
Mm-hmm.
It's like law, state law?
It is law, yeah, and you can be fined if they find food scrap in your garbage if you are randomly audited when they go through your garbage. It's to keep down the methanes in the landfills and all of that, which I understand it, but we didn't throw food scraps in. We green binned everything anyway, but it's really hard when you're green binning everything. It's like, I'd like to be able to just, zhuzh a few little things down on its way. So,
yeah.
Anyway, enough trash talk. We're trash talking today. I'm going to put that in the header. Yeah. Drew's Rhinebeck recap and trash talk.
Trash talk. Well, trash talk.
Oh, that's clickbait if I ever saw it.
Well. Yeah. Should I talk more about Rhinebeck, I guess? I don't know.
Absolutely. Everybody wants to hear everything about it. Start with Woolenfolk.
Okay.
Tell us who you saw, what you bought, what you squished.
Yeah. So, Woolenfolk. So, just as a general kind of introduction, so I went to New York Sheep and Wool. I traveled into Albany on Thursday, so I went from Thursday to Monday. Had some weather going in on Thursday. It was like a little bumpy, but I got there, which was good. A lot of time at the airport, though. Not crazy about that.
It's just your travel curse. It's your travel curse.
It's the Jacob's curse. It's a thing. And then, so Friday, so Rhinebeck, like, there has been, I think, like, an increase in the number of, like, wraparound shows. Like, I don't think it's always been this way, but over the last couple of years, there have been a number of shows that have kind of popped up, like, for the days prior, and even there are some, I think, that take place on Sunday. But anyway, a lot of them are on Friday. So I went to one of those, which is called Woolenfolk, and it had food trucks, like a really cool marketplace. I think the marketplace was really focused on, like, hand-dyed yarns, so a lot of, like, bright neon, speckly, you know, that sort of thing. And then it also had, like, a live stage where they had music, and they had tables out, and people brought, like, coolers and picnic blankets, and you could, like, sit on the water and stuff. It was really nice. The venue was really, really great. The vendors were really great. I actually only got, like, 2 things at Woolenfolk. I got this cool bandana, which I guess I should show. I should show and tell.
Show and tell. Show us everything.
Okay. So I got a cool bandana.
That's cute.
I thought it was cute. And then I got this one skein of Farmer's Daughter fibers.
That's a very on-brand color for you recently. I love it.
I know. I love it. It's like it's definitely like more of a, it's darker than the skein I'm working with now. It's on, like, the darker, scummier side of mustard. So anyway, so I did that on Friday, and then I went to the festival on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was crazy. Like, Saturdays where, like, all of the big, like, meet Andrea Mowry, see Gigi, like, this person, that person, like, it's all of that stuff. So the reports were, like, I heard, like, between 30 and 50,000 people on Saturday, which is, like, I believe it, though.
It was very
really
people-y.
crowded. Really crowded. Like, I left at around 1 o'clock just because there was, like, I just couldn't move. Like, you couldn't shop, you couldn't move, you couldn't get any food. Like, it was just too crazy. But Sunday was my favorite day because went back to the festival. It was, like, very, very chill. Got a bunch of stuff. I'll show some of the stuff I got.
Oh, right. I'm very excited about one of your purchases. I don't really know a lot about what you bought, but that's the thing that I'm really excited for because I have heard nothing but good things about that yarn, and I really want to try it. Yes. I'll buy some next year.
I got 4 skeins of worsted Cormo from the Foxhill Farm, and it's in this really cool, like, oatmeal color.
Perfect neutral.
It's very, very soft and squishy.
Do you have plans for it, or did you just buy it on a whim?
I just bought it on a whim because I loved how it felt. It was just like one of those, like, oh my god, I have to have it. I don't know what it's going to be. So I just I was like, 4, that sounds like I could do something with that, you know?
That's a good sized shawl in the right shape. Or
scarf, whatever, you know? So I got that. The other big thing that I got was the threaded maple needle binder. The binder's not here yet, but I have one of the individual pages.
I want one of these.
Yeah, it's really cool for your big ones up here, and then your smaller ones here. There's, like, a pocket and stuff. And then what's so cool about this is it goes into the binder, like, using these. But you can fold it over, and then it's got these little, like, snappy doos. Technical term.
I like snappy doos.
And you can do one of these. Button it over, take it.
Perfect.
It's like...
So just rip a page out of your book, take it with you.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, like...
And that one's for interchangeables?
Yeah, but they have pages for, like, your fixed circulars. They have pages for your accessories. And, like, all of the fixed circular ones. It's all like custom. So you have to know like, oh, I have Chow-Gu 5-inch, and like you order a page that's specific for that, and everything's like measured and correct, and so.
Christmas is coming.
I know. So the last two things I got, I think, are just two random skeins. So I got this cool green and olive skein of Neighborhood Fiber Company Studio Worsted. And I got a skein of Nightshades. I think you could see kind of, but this is like the green leaning one. Mm-hmm. This is also Cormo. It's so soft. I had to have it. I don't know what it will be yet. I think probably a hat.
Probably a hat.
But I really wanted to try this yarn because everybody has talked about this for a long time, and I've never knit with it. So, yeah. So that's it. That's all I got.
I think that's a very modest haul. You're very responsible.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Cassie, but like I have so much stuff now. Sorry.
It's hard to buy things. It's okay.
It's tough, and like I really don't have a lot of space left anymore, so I can't like go absolutely bananas. I can.
And it just sits too.
Yeah.
That's my problem, is that I'm like, I'm really excited to buy this, and then it just sits, and then I'm like, oh, it's making me sad, because then I feel guilt that I can't get to it, and I have all of this yarn, and then I get overwhelmed with projects because I'm trying to cast everything on to use all the yarn.
Yeah, and I have to say, too, the festival, it's overwhelming. Like, I feel like I probably could have bought, like, 16 other things, but I just, like, pumped the brakes. I was like, that's going to be enough, because, like, the leather binder, that was not cheap. And then...
Because you got the whole binder, but they didn't have in stock, so it's shipping.
Yeah, I bought the binder. I bought one additional page, which they did not have in stock, which was for fixed circulars, and then I bought the interchangeable page, and then we'll see where the winds take me after that. But that's like how I'm starting out. So
very cool. And is that the large binder? I'm asking for research purposes for myself.
I went ahead and got the jumbo one because it's only like $8 more for that one, and it fits 2 additional pages, so I don't know why you wouldn't.
Right. Unless you really don't have that much and you don't want floppy extra.
Yeah. The jumbo one,
I like room to grow.
It fits up to 7 pages, and the regular size one fits up to 5 pages. So.
I have a lot of needles.
Well, and for people who like have different interchangeable sets and want, to have like a set of wood needles and a set of metal needles like handy, it's really, really good for that.
Yeah, I don't have any of that. I don't even have a single interchangeable set. I am team fixed. So I have that like storage case that they sold at Michael's for photos with the little boxes.
That's what I
have so many needles that like my size 7 box, I have to like squeeze it and then shove it in the thing because it won't clip anymore. I've got probably like 15 pairs of size 7 needles hanging out in there. But, I've got like 2 16 inches and 2 24s and 3 32s and a ton of 40s and some 60s. Chow-Gu fixed all the way. So I'd probably have to do like, I need a page for Chow-Gu fixed. I need 1 page for this size.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm looking to move away from the box. Because the box was a really good idea in the beginning and I really liked it, but it's inconvenient to like pull out and pop open the box and pop open the thing, and like you can't take anything with you anywhere if you wanted to like grab needles and go. Then I've got this like briefcase of needles, which is
I have it.
Absurd.
You can't see it, but it's like it's on top of this bookcase. I have the same thing, but I use it kind of like, I almost think about it as like my storage, like my deep storage. Like if I'm really desperate and I can't find like what I need in my just normal like interchangeable case, then I go to that.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
Oh, that's okay.
We have a fire alert, and I want to just make sure that we're not... Okay, we're okay. We're okay. We're not catching
good.
fire today in California. We've been on high alert since Friday because we've had high winds. And what was it, 4 or 5 years ago? October 8th, half the town burnt down in high winds and fire in the middle of the night. So we're jiggy over here about it. So our county has a bunch of apps and stuff that like alert you anytime there's a fire. Like you'll see smoke, but everybody's okay. So,
Oops.
did you? Oh, I had a question. I totally because phone alert.
Ask away.
I don't remember what the damn question was. I got distracted.
I thought you wrote it down.
Oh, no, that's a different question. I had a question about something you were talking about, and I totally...
The Cormo.
Cormo's great, yep.
I don't know. I'm trying to,
I don't know.
shake it loose.
That's all right. It's okay. Here is a question that I'm actually really interested in. Out of those 3 single skeins that you got that are definitely all, sorted for hats, I'm sure, which one are you most excited to cast on?
Probably...
Same.
It's because not only the color, but I haven't worked with the base yet, and it's got like a little bit of an oomph. Like it's like a true worsted, none of this light worsted stuff. So I'm excited to see how it knits up.
I've almost bought it a few times in the sport weight, and I just haven't because I don't have a project for it.
Yeah, it's thick. So I'm excited to see how it will be. But I'm excited about all of them, honestly. I'm excited about the nightshades as well because it's just so spongy soft. It's very squishy.
And I think that's is it like woolen spun?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely got kind of a Gilliatt thing going on. And it's kind of in a range where it's between DK and worsted. So I think it would be a good go-to for a lot of different things. So
test it out. We might be using it for sweaters soon.
Yeah.
Sweater knitting.
Sweater weather. Sweater weather.
Yes. It's not quite sweater weather yet. It keeps teasing and I'm waiting. So, are you knitting anything fun right now? Did you get any progress done on anything while you were there?
I did. I got a lot of progress done on my hat.
Oh, yeah, you did.
So, I still have probably 2 inches to go or maybe more because you go a pretty far, long way, but really happy with this. This is, you're gonna laugh. This is Marona DK from Ritual Dyes, and it's Cormo as well. I don't know why.
You like what you like.
Converging on Cormo for me. And then I'm gonna do a test knit, and I'm working on swatches. So I'm working on a little swatch. This is out of Brooklyn Tweed Tones. And then I'm going to do my second one out of Gilliatt and block them out and see how the gauge is and which one's fabric I like better. So that's all I've got.
Oh, that's really exciting. I didn't really work on a lot. I mean, it's only been a week. Here we are recording again.
I know.
I didn't really work on a lot. I haven't touched my shawl. But I do have really good news. I did wind the 3rd skein of yarn. That was the holdup. So I got that done last night when I was winding something else that I was just really excited to dig into. And I was like, I got the winder out. Let me take care of that skein of elemental. But this might just end up being a Stan account for North Bay Fiber.
There are definitely
I don't know.
worse things to stand, so.
I got a problem right now. I just think it's such lovely yarn that, and I mean, people make all the difference too. Jill Zielinski is a doll, and I adore her. But she sent me a little something to test out, something new coming. Can't really talk about it, but I can mention it. And it looks like this, and it's the smooshiest yarn. I mean, look at all those little plies, and it's so soft, like, And I started knitting a hat. I don't know what's going on here. Hold on. There we go. Knitting a hat. Just super simple. And I just thought of it, and I was like, I really still need my knitwear for Europe, and this is going to be my hat. It'll go with my coats. It's neutral. It's got like little grays and warm tones to it and little cool tones. I love it. Anyway, that'll be coming soon from Jill. And the pattern isn't a pattern. It's just me knitting a hat. It might be a pattern. It might not. I don't know. I wrote it down. I'm working on the decreases right now. But that's all I've got going on. And that distracted me from my shawl. But I cast that hat on last night. I just kept knitting on it. And then my only other update is my big green sweater, because I put some inches in on the body. Can't really, let me get back here. Here we go. Oh my goodness, I don't know why this is so hard to hold on to. Big green sweater progress.
It looks
got
great.
About 3 or 4 more inches left to do on the body before I start the ribbing on the bottom. But I've tried it on a few times, and it just fits so perfect. I'm very excited about finishing and wearing that. I gotta figure out what I'm going to do with the sleeves. I have an idea, but then I gotta math it. So the mathing part takes the longest. Oh, and we're not going to check in on the shawl because it looks exactly the same. But I ice dyed for my mental health this week because I just needed something super fun. So I did this like little tote bag.
I love it.
It's got little pockets in the front. Here's the back. But I had 4 little tote bags and this one big tote bag. These comically small little tote bags that when I washed them, they shrank into nothing. I dyed them all the same. All of them. All in one tub.
I love it.
And I love that they all turned out so different.
Yeah.
But, I squished them all, lined them up in the tub like, this way. And then I started with pink and then went down, kind of did like a little rainbow. But you can see it best on the big one. The big one's the favorite because it's the only actual usable bag out of all of them, because the other ones are so small. Like, I can't believe anybody would make a bag that tiny. Like, let's see. I'm gonna put my hat in here. Okay, it can hold a hat project. But like,
that's it.
That's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Never buying those again. Big tote bags for life.
Yeah.
That's all I've been cooking up lately.
I wish I had time to ice dye. I miss it. It's been like several weeks.
Yes.
Probably more than a month, actually. I was
miss
thinking
the
that
updates.
I might, this is like a little crazy. I've been meaning to mention this to you, but I love my rainbow sweatshirts that I made, like the ones that have like the kind of gradient. So I was thinking I might do some sweatpants and make like a full-on like rainbow like sweat jumpsuit.
I've been contemplating sweatpants for myself too.
Yeah.
Just like, what a happy thing to wear around the house,
Yeah, that's what I think.
Early
too,
morning
so.
dog taken out, making coffee, sweatpants.
Yeah. So that
There's
way when I
nothing
want to feel
happier.
like the full rainbow fantasy too, like I will just like wear both. Like I was thinking I would just, because I could do like the same order that I did for the sweatshirt, like for that sweatpants, so it kind of like matches.
Or reverse. Go back. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
I love that.
We'll see. I think
everybody in my life is getting that for Christmas. Like, something ice-dyed. I'm just going to buy a ton of sweatshirts or whatever.
Well, socks. Like, that's another thing that you could do. Like, it would be great for gifts. So, yeah.
Because it's not for you. It's for me. I'm getting the joy out of making it.
That's exactly like...
The people are just along for the ride.
They're facilitating the habit, right? Yes. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're ice dyeing without a reason, like...
Been there.
You're going to end up with so many ice dyed things, and, like, how many do I need?
Yeah. No. It's a thing.
Yeah, so if I can make an excuse to do it for other people, I think that...
We can.
Yes. It sounds really good to me. But yeah, that just brings me great joy. The other thing I wanted to touch on today is some things that I think we're going to be having come up in the future. Let the people know.
Yeah, tell them.
I've started creating a gift guide for Christmas, a knitter's gift guide in multiple price ranges. Like the same thing. Here's your top of the line one, and here's your middle of the road one, and here's your like budget friendly one. And the Thread and Maple book is definitely on my Christmas wish list. But it's definitely just going to be a list of everything that I want for Christmas, and maybe some other knitters in your life want it for Christmas, or you can share that with your family. This is what I want. And then there's things out there that you just don't even know exist, maybe. I find new things every day. So I definitely have knitters in my life that I shop for, and maybe it'll be a helpful little thing. So we're working on that, and we'll be having that come out a little, probably like mid-November. Good time for shopping. I've bought an Advent. Drew has bought an Advent. So we might have some Advent chat.
Yes.
We bought very different Advents. Mine's not even yarn.
Mine is yarn.
His is yarn. I bought the Wax and Wool Candle Advent, and I'm very excited about it.
And I got...
What else did we...
I was going to say, I was just going to put a plug in. I got the Elder Millennial kit from Teal Torch Knits, which I think she put for sale in April or May. But
that's a real pre-planning one there.
For some of them, you have to order, like, they do the orders super early, like, springtime.
You've got to be committed.
Yeah.
But then it's fun to, like, get it when you've forgotten about it.
That's exactly
like,
what happens.
Here.
It will come on your doorstep in, like, November, and you're like, wait a minute, and you're like, oh, so...
And then you have to torture yourself to not open it.
Yeah, it's tough. You just have to, like, set it, like, to the side. It's so much fun to open every day, though. Like, last year I did, a quick little, like, Instagram story every day, and, like, even, like, non-knitter people were really, like, what's going to be the next one, you know? They were getting into it, so, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Love that. The dog's getting into things. What are you doing? She's restless today.
I know. Mine probably want to go outside, too, before it's supposed to rain here today, so...
Yeah, she's staring at me like, why are you talking to yourself over there? She can't hear you. And she's like, you're just sitting there talking. The other thing that I have 2 knit-along ideas. And one of them I think we're going to start, like, maybe next week. Maybe. Depends on how organized I get myself. But one of them's going to be a wrap up for the end of the year to clear your plate for beginning of the year, and then we had discussed also a knit along for 2023, and it'll be a full year long knit along, and it's knit the thing that has been in your queue forever, or an epic thing, and Drew and I have both kind of settled on like the epic cabled sweater.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a really good year-long knit-along. I mean, we all need support in this. Yeah.
It's definitely, I'm trying to like figure out which cabled sweater I'm going to go for, and I'm of like two minds, like, I'm of two minds about it. Like, on one hand, I'm like, there's a top-down cabled sweater that I really like from Vera Valakami or whatever. You guys know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Vera. Everybody's Vera.
Yes.
So that one, but then there's also this one from Brooklyn Tweed I'm thinking about, this one from Hudson and West I'm thinking about, so I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not sure how much construction I want to take on yet, so.
But it's a whole year long, so if it's the big challenging
you'll have
sweater,
time.
so be it. So be it. So think on that, everybody. What are you thinking on? What's been like kicking around your queue that you're just like, oh, I don't know when I'm going to cast that on. I want it, but I don't want to, like, it's a big commitment. So I'm going to be using the knit along for my Thea Coleman 1908 sweater.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't knit cables that often. I love cables. I don't do them that much. I can do it without a cable needle. I prefer not to. Different strokes for different folks. So I know it's going to take me forever to do, and it's a different construction than I'm used to. So I know I'm going to learn new skills. So that's part of it that is exciting to me.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going. So, and then we'll talk about Christmas and holiday knitting in the next one too. I'm anti-Christmas knitting, by the way.
Me too. I'm really.
I don't like the stress.
I'm very selfish when it comes to knitting. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. When you're gay and you're basically the same size as your partner, it's kind of nice because I can just like set out to knit something, and then if my partner really likes it, I can just be like,
ta-da!
Here you go.
But let me borrow it every once in a while.
Yeah,
Please, thank you.
That's better for me than like, I'm going to make you this specific thing and then it becomes like work, which I hate.
Yeah.
Not that I hate work, I hate when the knitting becomes work because it really just takes all the fun out of it. So
it's supposed to be fun. This is everybody's reminder right now. Knitting is supposed to be fun.
It is supposed to be fun.
Don't screw it up for yourself. Don't knit for people for Christmas. Oh, I just see so many knitters on Instagram, like, down to the wire, like, up all night. I've got to finish this. I'm like, why? I hope you bought a backup gift. But, you know, I'll gift things for Christmas, but they're things that are already done or things that I've worn. This is how I operate. Like, I'll wear my knits, and then somebody makes a comment like, oh my gosh, I really love that shawl. And I'm like, okay, stored. And if Christmas comes around and they're deserving enough that year... Sometimes it falls into their hands. Like, I've given away a lot of my knits. I don't have a room to store them, but I enjoy making them, and I've held on to the ones I really, really love. And the other ones go find new homes.
Yeah.
So there's my Christmas advice for everybody.
Yeah.
Didn't come here to say Christmas advice today, but here we are.
No, I like that. I like the idea of, like, give away the things that you have. Because, again, even if, like, we're, you know, like, so... I said I'm like kind of a selfish knitter, but like I don't need like 25 knitted hats. Like I can give some stuff away. Well, maybe, but
you know, it works. So this is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today because you know we're coming to you 1 week away from the last one. So, do you want to play question time?
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm down.
Okay. This is the portion of our show where Drew and I ask each other a random question. If you're new here,
I love question time. It's my favorite.
I love question time too, but I can't think of questions that aren't knitting related, and that's my problem.
That's okay.
That's okay. So my question for you is, what is the knitting hill that you will die on when it comes to like techniques or something? Like, what is one thing you're just like, this is the way?
Wow.
Don't think too hard on it. I'll tell you mine in the meantime. If
okay,
you
go for it. Yeah.
don't have one ready. Mine's everything. I'm right all the time. I think my big one is watching people weave in ends completely like, no, you're not doing it right. It's just like the one thing that I'm just like, I can't even handle it. I'm like, there is a right and a wrong way, and everybody's using these cheater ways, and I'm all like, have fun with your unraveled sweater. I'm just like sitting here just like, well, you go right ahead and do that. There's a right and a wrong way.
Mine is swatching, and I know that like that's gonna like get the big eye roll, but here's the thing. Not only do you need to do swatching for the purposes of making sure that the item will fit you, and I mean just for sweaters. I'm not like a lunatic who like swatches for hats or shawls or stuff like that. Like, not that, but sweaters. But second, like, I mean, I just find that you need to like have a fabric you really like for a sweater, I feel, and so there's no other way to determine like what it's gonna be like until you knit it up and you wash it and like run it through that process, because some yarn that you really, really like could just be like absolutely terrible, even if it's like supposed to be the right gauge or whatever. Like, yeah. So I'm a big swatch.
I think every knitter has made that mistake once.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't have to be a sweater or anything. Like, there was this time I knit a scarf that was like a wider scarf, and I knit it in this alpaca yarn, and it became this like long, skinny, useless piece of crap. Alpaca, steer clear.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I'll say like my favorite, like one of my favorite things I've ever made is the Guthrie sweater, and the gauge on that was so bananas. Like, it was just, if I were to ever make that again, I would make it out of worsted weight yarn. I made it out of DK, and it's just like at this really loose gauge. I would do it differently next time.
I feel like that sweater stresses you out, even though it's done and it fits and you wear it. Every time you're like, I'm going to wash my Guthrie. Like, you washed your Guthrie before Rhinebeck, and there were many texts and many stressed moments of, oh my God, it's ruined. Stupid sweater. But it's the most beautiful sweater, and I love it. And I'm so glad you make it work.
It weighs so much. Like, it's like I always tell people, it's before I knew that I should not knit like an entire Colorworks sweater out of two kinds of like superwash DK, because it's just like, it's really heavy, it stretches like crazy. It's hard to, like, it's honestly kind of hard to wear too. Like, it's really warm.
Well, it's a double weight from all the.
Yeah.
It's a full Colorworks sweater.
It's something. So I would definitely knit it like out of a non-superwash, like woolen spun situation next
lofty,
time.
Maybe like a mohair floating.
Or like Dream State would be particularly beautiful. Dream State plus like some sort of like good solid worsted.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll have to remake it.
Maybe, but not anytime soon. I have so many
Unlikely.
sweaters to make.
The queue is long.
It's long. There's a lot happening over here.
We've got epic cabled sweaters to think about in the meantime.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah. Too.
Yeah. I love a good knit along.
I know. I have to figure out which one I want to do. So.
You have time. We got another 2 months left in the year. How'd that happen? Where did October go?
I don't know. Time's going so fast right now. I can't even believe it.
Like, stop the world for a second. Like, pump the brakes. I don't know. Maybe it's part of getting older. Time's just
moving quickly.
And we've been hanging out with Sterling's 18-year-old nephew a lot recently because he's going to college here. And I have never felt older in my life. That kid, I tell you, the terminology, the phrases, I had to explain to him who the Beatles are. I was just like, what do you mean you don't know who Neil Young is? Like, he's getting a musical education from us in the meantime. So that's good for him.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying anything for you, but I have a milestone birthday next year, so I feel like...
So do I. Are we on the same wavelength for next year?
We are.
Shit. Man.
It's happening.
I don't feel that old.
Scary.
Yeah. Well, we can celebrate it together. Because we're both beginning of the year babies anyway.
Yeah.
Ish.
May.
Yeah.
Over here.
March. The M's. Gonna turn 40. I'm gonna buy myself 40 skeins of yarn on my 40th birthday.
Yes. I love
there
that.
We go. Now we have a new goal in life.
I like how that sounds. I'm going to have to do some sort of countdown. 40 skeins to the 40th birthday countdown.
Oh, yeah. 40 single skeins of worsted for Hatpalooza 2023.
Yep. I like how that sounds. You know me, I like a good, experiment, let's try out all the skeins situation, so...
Hat swatches. Love it. So what's your question you have for me?
My question for you is going to be, it's basically the same as what you asked me, but I'll ask you the question I had, which was going to be, what's one unpopular knitting opinion that you hold?
Well, I've got very strong opinions, so we can have another one. People don't weave ends correctly. That's
but I meant that more like
you're fine. I'm not the police. What's an unpopular opinion I have?
So kind of the opposite of what you were saying a moment ago, right? So it's like something that you do in knitting that people would be appalled. Maybe.
I meticulously weave my ends. No, I don't know. What's yours? Give me a minute to think on this.
Mine is that I basically don't want to touch or go near cotton. Or really any kind of natural fibers. I'm just not into that. I like wool. Maybe a wool nylon, maybe a wool cashmere, maybe a wool silk. But wool. All the time, 12 months out of the year, doesn't matter. And I do not want to knit with cotton because it's just miserable. I hate it. And I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make something with cotton.
I'm kind of on that same page. People use the term summer knitting. No. Why? What? I'm going to have a knit tank top. I don't. Well, it's just something that I don't understand because I think of knitting as the warm cozy, and that's. But what is a really unpopular opinion that I have? I'm sure I've shared 100 of them with you over the years.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm just a really opinionated person, and I have no problem letting people know my opinion. don't know.
Well, we can come back to it next time.
Yeah.
But leave them wanting more.
Yeah. Tune in next time to hear Cassie's opinion on everything. She's going to tell you. Oh, my goodness. See, now I'm just like reeling about it. But I really do think it is the whole...
That there is a right way to weave in the ends. Where people would say, oh, it doesn't matter, like, do what you will, just whip stitch it, like, no problem. And you would say, no.
Oh my gosh. I love Stephen West, let me tell you. I think he's brilliant and genius and whatever, but this Weave and Steven thing has got to stop. Like, stop. Follow your yarn exactly how it goes and weave it in, at least, so long. I don't know. Do you weave your ends before or after blocking?
Usually after.
Mm-hmm. Same. Because I want it to match the gauge that it's at now. Otherwise, you get like your little ends that pull out, or sometimes you get like a little tight spot,
Yeah.
And you can like see that thicker spot when it's... I also don't spit splice in the middle of a sweater regardless of what the yarn is made up of. I'm not a big spit splicer. I'm going to drop it, I'm going to start a new one, and then I'm going to weave them back on each other. You like this?
I spit splice. It depends, though. I don't do it. I don't do it like universally, but it depends on the yarn. Like for my Normandale sweater, where for the quarry, which is the bulkier yarn that was like in that dark navy, there's so much going on. I spit splice.
You'd never notice.
You never know. And then I didn't though for the Arbor, which is the other yarn. That one I just joined in because it's too smooth and round. Like you could, but you would definitely, and it's light, so you would definitely see it. That's for me. Like that's the test. Is like, am I going to be able to see it or no? And if it's like beige round yarn, I'm definitely not going to spit splice it because you're going to see it like clear as day.
It's going to stick out like a sore thumb. Yeah.
But if it's like Noro and dark yarn, it's like, okay, well then that I might do.
Yeah.
They call it the felted join now too, isn't that funny? So like Brooklyn Tweed, when they do like a little video, they like have like this little cup of water. They like dip the end in the cup of water, and I'm like, you're not just going like,
let's be real.
'cause that's what I'm doing.
I've spit on my yarn.
So
I've totally spit on my yarn. I don't have any problem with that, but I just choose not to do it now. Yeah. Spit splice. I would like to know what everybody else's unpopular opinion, hill they will die on, knitting related. I want to know. Let us know.
Tell us. Don't be afraid.
There.
It's probably going to be like, I hate knitting gauge swatches. That's going to be like my guess, as that'll be like the one that people are going to say the most.
Yeah. My little shawl is in test knitting right now. And one of my test knitters like, oh my God, thank you. You gave me unblocked gauge, because I listed that in the pattern. Unblocked gauge is this. And I was like, nobody's knitting a gauge swatch for a shawl, let alone blocking it. I'm going to tell you what it's supposed to be as you start knitting, and that way. She goes, well, I'll have to knit a swatch. And I was like, please don't.
Not for a shawl.
Start the little shawl nugget, and then check it. And if you're off, start over, but start it. Because if you're good, keep going. Otherwise, that was just a swatch. There's my life advice for the day.
Yeah, and if it's a shawl, like...
Yeah.
I guess in my mind, there's like two
the only thing you risk is running out of yarn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. I'm not gonna say no, don't do it, but I wouldn't do that.
Make your own decisions. Like I said, we're not the police.
No.
Yeah. Anyway.
It was great catching up.
That's a roundup of everything we've had to talk about.
Thank you everybody for liking and subscribing and watching us, and keep up the conversation in the comments. Let us know if there are any topics you want us to cover, any episodes that you want to suggest. We would definitely be interested in taking those kinds of pieces of feedback. And yeah, hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. We would love to hear from you. And I try to answer everybody back. So if you're getting answers, it's probably from me.
It's from her. Yeah.
But I can answer for Drew too. Or I can, if you have questions for Drew, I'll be like, hey, Drew, somebody wants to know.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we'll work it out. Yeah, it's all good. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. And we appreciate it. And we will see you next time.
Bye.